Julius Mawarire appeared. Of course, he wanted to defend himself against, I think, Traore, as well as also raise pertinent political issues. We know that they are faceless protests in Zimbabwe. Social media is supporting them. Various opposition political parties have come out openly to say we did not organize them, maybe in fear of arrest by Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. However, we support these protests. It is only ZAPU that has decided to take on the regime head on and say, we want to clear these protests. They are actually attending to that. We wait to see whether the authorities in Zimbabwe will grant them their constitutional right to actually regularize some elements of this protest. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. Let's listen to Julius Mawarire. It's going to be quite a lengthy, actually, audio. Let's listen to the audio where he was speaking to this media outlet.
On the line. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
You've raised some very serious concerns about the interview conducted last night and where numerous allegations were made against you on this program. What is your reaction when you heard some of those allegations made against you?
Yeah, for starters, I thought because you were talking about the so-called July 31 protest in Zimbabwe,
yes,
I thought at least as a channel, you yourselves should have been, you should have had knowledge of who called for those demonstrations. Certainly, I didn't call for any demonstrations. I never called for any demonstrations in Zimbabwe. I haven't called for the July 31, 2026 demonstrations in Zimbabwe. What I've just shared with fellow Zimbabweans is what is contained in the Constitution, that in Section 59 of our Constitution, we are guaranteed as Zimbabwean citizens the freedom to demonstrate and to petition. And also in the Bill of Rights, in Section 67, subsection 2 of the Constitution, subsection 2D of the Zimbabwean Constitution, we are guaranteed as Zimbabweans, individually or collectively, of the right to gather for peaceful activities to influence or challenge the government. So I don't see anything wrong with people who want to demonstrate or want to petition. It's their right. It's enshrined in the Constitution, the sections that I referred to. Those are the rights that the new Constitution that we had in 2018 guarantee the people or the citizens of Zimbabwe. As far as I'm concerned,
Mr. Mawarire,
no.
Just as we, just so we're on the same momentum with this conversation. As you started the conversation, you said, I should have known who called for the 31st of July demonstrations. Perhaps you should tell me.
Certainly that was your topic.
Yes.
As a journalist,
but
that was your topic.
Can you give me a chance to explain, to ask you, because to tell me, you are in Zimbabwe, you tell me who.
Apologies, let's pick it up from there.
Who is behind it? Why is it a faceless demonstration?
If you say it's a faceless demonstration, then at least you have done research on the demonstrations. And I wonder why then your channel and your guest then had to put my face on what you rightly say is a faceless demonstration. Why did you put my face? That's my concern. I'm not in Zimbabwe for starters. I'm not in Zimbabwe. I'm outside Zimbabwe. I left Zimbabwe because I'm fearing for my own security. I've been outside Zimbabwe, and the government knows, the political leaders in Zimbabwe, they know about that. Even your guest knew, because he mentioned that I was in South Africa. I'm not in South Africa, but I'm not in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I didn't call for those demonstrations. I didn't call for the demonstrations. What I have gathered through various media channels is that there is a collective grouping of churches, civil society organizations, and political leaders, which calls itself Sungano, which is a grouping of the people. Those are the people that have called for a stay away. I'm not part of that group, but they've called for a stay away on the 31st of July, 2026. I am not aware of any group that has called for demonstrations on July 31. Neither do I know of an individual that has called for demonstrations on the 31st of July.
Yes.
But I'm perplexed. I'm really, surprised that you and your guests, you were discussing me as if I'm the one who called for demonstrations. For starters, I don't even know that there are demonstrations on the 31st of July. I know, which I've read in news articles and on various social media channels, is that there is a stay away. And I think there is a world of difference between a demonstration and a stay away.
Okay. So let me correct you. Your name was mentioned by the guest, and I wanted to find out what these allegations were against you. There are accusations that you allegedly took money from the late former President Robert Mugabe, and then another allegation suggesting that you solicited funds from Zimbabwean business people for these very demonstrations, the 31st of July, and have used the money for personal projects. How do you respond to that claim? I'm sure that must have been the point where you thought you have to come and speak for yourself on this platform.
It doesn't make any sense that I've used, I've collected money for the demonstrations, for the 31st July demonstrations, and have already built structures in Zimbabwe worth 2 million. According to your guest, he says that I've built houses, cluster houses, that are worth 2 million United States dollars.
Yes.
And when did I collect the money? And when did I buy a piece of land? And when did I start building those? Does it make sense? When were they demonstrated? If they were called in July, is it physically possible that I could have already bought a piece of land and I've already started building cluster houses, and these cluster houses are even complete to an extent that someone can actually estimate their final cost, that at completion they will be worth $2 million. These are just lies that these regime agents are concocting, trying to tie my name to the demonstrations for whatever reason. I don't know. But if you ask me, this call for demonstrations on the 31st of July 2026 might be a false flag from the regime. It's a false flag. That's why they are trying to find a face to attach to their false flag, so that if the demonstrations turn violent, they will hunt for me. Or if the demonstrations then fail, they'll then say, Mawarire called for demonstrations, and they fail. Because as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen any individual or any group that has called for demonstrations on the 31st of July 2026. What we have is a united front of civil servants, of civil society, political parties, and church groups.
Okay, that's what I wanted from Julius Mawarire, that the regime may be pursuing a false flag in terms of the demonstrations. There is a stay away. But what I must underscore is that on social media, all of us were advocating for faceless demonstrations. We are supporting these faceless demonstrations. And I think I will continue to say I support the for a big deal if Zimbabweans unite. I've even given the strategies, especially if you do sporadic, peaceful demonstrations where the police cannot penetrate and defeat you in your respective area. I can tell you, you are bigger than ZANU-PF. I've continued to say that, and this regime deserves to fall. Should I backtrack on that? I've continued also to underscore that aspect. And now, it's rather we attempt to fight rather than not even attempt to fight, whilst the regime of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa does as it pleases. Of course, definitely they are so desperate to attach these faceless demonstrations to a person so that they can easily hunt for you. That is the strategy that they used against Nyoka. They accused him of a corruption charge, and they want to extradite him through that corruption charge. But we know that this extradition that they are pushing, it is a politically motivated extradition. So, and they may be targeting individuals like retired General Chwenga, like also Tendaibit. You've heard some notorious ZANU-PF groups calling for the arrest of Tendaibit. I hope Tendaibit is safe. And also Professor Love Momaduku and all the activists that think you should be safe, gentlemen. If there is high possibility of using another place where you are not known during this period, the regime is hunting down people, especially in Zimbabwe. It wants to kill everybody that is opposing it. That has been the strategy. They have got these are heartless human beings to ever exist on the face of Mother Earth. They can absolutely do anything to actually hound those, especially who are opposed to the regime. But otherwise, we're still standing on the 31st of July. Stand up in your numbers. What if you decide to protest? It is your constitutional right. Already the government is trembling. They have marketed these protests like no other. That's why even jealous Mawarire may be making a point that they are, there is definitely an agenda. Remember, at one point, Blessed Geza organized the protest and he called on the people of Zimbabwe to stop the protest forthwith, because they were actually organizing to tamper with these protests, to create violence, and then they would have said that violence was masterminded by Blessed Geza, and they will initiate a case with him and begin the process of extradition because they knew where he was, so that they can actually get him back to Zimbabwe and finish the job. That is how the regime, how evil the regime is. But should we stop fighting against these people? They are abusing the people of Zimbabwe. They are doing all forms of evils. Definitely, they don't deserve to be treated like human beings. That is why on the 31st of 2026, I still call upon the people of Zimbabwe to rise up in their numbers and make sure that they confront this regime head on. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Is signing off. Love and leave you. Let's meet on the other side.